Hello, everybody. I am Lindsay, and thanks for coming to Gentle Yoga. I love gentle yoga because not only do I feel like it serves me, but it serves most people from little kids to maybe older adults. I feel like there's something for everyone. Today, you will need a couple of blocks, potentially, maybe a strap. You just want to make sure that you've got some of those things at your disposal to use should you want the floor brought up to you or an extra long arm with a strap. I use the analogy, would you rather use the bedding from like Days In, or would you rather sleep in a bed at the Waldorf Astoria? Right? These props are there to like baby you and to make you feel luxurious and amazing. So you'll treat yourself today with those props. Okay, gentle yoga begins now in child's pose. And child's pose can be a little painful for some people. So to put the block maybe between your hips and your heels can be very nice. Even to come into embryo pose with knees closed. So find something that works for you. Hmm. In this gentler practice, I think I would like to bend my elbows just a tad to relieve the shoulders and just to become a little bit more yin-like in my flow. Let's breathe in to clear our mental space. And exhale as slowly as you feel is necessary to really ground down. It'll sink beneath the operational mindset, your to-do list, your work, your roles at home. Anything that's without or outside the bounds of this mat will really not pertain to these next several moments. It's imperative to dive deep down inside and to get quiet once in a while. To let the external voices, social media, advertisements, all of these things be away from us. To really filter our diet of what's external and to just take a little break. A mental cleanse, if you will. And now that you've maybe deepened your relationship with your breath, can you turn your palms to the ceiling and identify an intention for your practice? What is your deepest intention for coming to your yoga today? Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Just fan some active fingers into your mat. Breathe in. Table pose. You'll take your time through all of these transitions. Even if I get there first, doesn't matter. Exhale, tuck your toes under and spread the bases of your feet. As you breathe in, cow pose, gentle spinal extension, and exhale, cat pose, opposite direction. Let's take this two more times. Inhale, as big or as subtle as you want it. And exhale. Breathe in, cow. And exhale, cat. Sink your hips back towards your heels and just breathe. If you look at me, my toes are still tucked. My spine is rather straight, and I feel a lot in my feet. So just to wag my tailbone from side to side, move the energy around in the feet. This could be mentally challenging for a lot of us. It'll make you want to run, but we need to give care to all parts of our body. And this next posture we'll get into slowly to set you up for success. So from table pose, you will just lift both sets of toes, point them, And then cross right shin over left calf. Really far up here. I don't want it over the ankle. I want it up over the calf in a really deep X. So you should feel that bone on top of your calf. Sink your hips back again. Maybe your right knee comes up a little bit, and then just a swish from side to side. It's called calf smash. I love this. Steffi taught me this years ago in class, and I have always kept it because it felt so good. Your shin, your right shin, will start to pull apart all that calf meat on the left side. And apparently, I really needed this. That's what my calves are telling me right now. If you don't feel it, adjust. You're kind of like an explorer, right? I don't know what's inside the body. I don't know what it's like to be inside your body. So you might need something a tiny bit different. Come back up, uncross your legs, point your toes, lift your ankles. Let's cross left shin deeply up high on back of right calf. Okay? So make sure you got it over. And as you press your weight back, you will feel more sensation. Wag from side to side. Create a little bit more room for blood flow, for movement and openness in your connective tissues. Doesn't matter if you're a runner or a cyclist or a couch potato. I always feel like people need this one. Whenever I call it out in a class, man, there's some good feedback to it. And to notice which side feels just a little bit more tender. I've got some sort of knot on this side. Good to know. It's a good thing we're doing this. When you feel even, rock back up, uncross, point your toes, curl them under, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog's a big pose, so a bend in your knees can be smart. Do fingertip through every single finger pad. And if this ever becomes more of a distraction than an actual benefit to your practice, you'll just take table pose. Wherever you land, though, you just breathe as you focus your gaze. Notice how nice it feels to have your cell phone off, and if your cell phone's not off, to put it on Do Not Disturb, and to be away from anything that could possibly pull you out of this focus, of this intentional movement and breath. Walk your hands back toward your feet now. Widen your feet a lot, and then interlace your arms for ragdoll. We call this dangling pose in yin. And so do just that, just dangle. You've got no destination. You don't get prize money for touching your head to the mat. Your knees can bend as much as you need to, should your hamstrings be just a little grouchy. This is a really nice place to hold because after a few breaths, you might feel something along the backside of the body lengthen or give way. Not always, but sometimes. I'll stay here just a bit longer. I'll sway from side to side, can be nice. To notice that your breath stays this nice subtle undercurrent of your practice, no matter if you're upside down or inside out. It's always there for you to come back to focus on. Let's release our hands to the floor. And bend your knees, dial your toes to the outside for Yogi Squat. I'll face you so that you can see. Great. This posture is not for everyone. This is where your blocks come in. If you have two blocks, you can put them on top of each other and sit on your blocks. And if you don't have blocks and anything is grouchy from ankles to knees to hips, you might come up into horse and do some shoulder dips instead. Always a way to retrofit your practice to make it accessible to you. My practice when I'm 110 is not going to look like my practice at 37. My practice when I'm injured is not going to look like my practice when I'm healthy. And you can do the same sort of thing in your Yogi Squat. If you're in Yogi Squat, just start to press in with your arms to twist your shoulders. And we send that kind of relaxed breath to any spaces that feel unintentionally tight. From here, take a breath in. And as you exhale, refold. Good. Bring your feet kind of close together. Take your left foot up and back. And then just cross your feet for cross-legged forward fold. Drop your head. Hands can be on blocks, on the earth, but you will use your knees as a control center. Okay, so if I lock out my knees and I walk my face back toward my shin, that's about 110% intensity for me. Ugh, I want to bend in a little bit and make this tolerable, pleasant, still effective. The goal of this video is not for you to watch me, right? It's for you to be in your own experience. But if you ever do look up and I'm swaying from side to side, it just tends to be something that I do in my practice. My tissues respond really well to just a little bit of gentle movement in each posture. It's an option for you. You definitely do not have to mirror me. Great. Take your hands to the floor or a block. Extend your left leg up. Bend your left knee open. Just feel for a second. And then release down into forward fold. Take your right leg high this time. Up, up, up. And then we'll just cross our feet. And notice and listen in to what you need to do on this side. Your body will tell you. This side is tighter. I can feel that straight away. And so I'll bend my knees a little bit until those tissues start to respond. And let your head be really heavy. Nod it yes, no. Some of these stretches require a lot of mental fortitude. You'll come into some postures that you don't like very much. And I had a eavesdropping moment with a teacher who came to my class this week, and she said to somebody, man, it's so hard to go back to school. I've got all these online students, I have all these in-person students. It's so hard. And then she said, but I can do hard things. And that's so true. You can do hard things. You don't want to punish yourself, right? We're not stretching and tearing the tissues, but you can stay for a couple of breaths in a meditative posture. Extend your right leg up as you inhale. As you exhale, bend, twist, open. Let's just stay for a beat. Breathe in. And exhale, forward, hold. Awesome. Roll all the way up toward mountain pose. Okay. I love balance. I love balance because I don't want to fall when I'm 95 years old and break a hip. And so why not use it so we don't lose it? And if you have lost it, let's get it back. Okay? You have the option to be next to a wall or a piece of furniture if you need it. And we'll just come into tree pose because it's got so many different levels of variation. Your left foot will be down on the mat. Spread your toes nice and wide. And then just make contact, either a kickstand or to challenge yourself a little bit more, up on calf. Now from here, look at one thing, something low on the ground. Check in with your breath and peel your right hip back in space with your right knee. Awesome. There's a little room for some creativity here if you'd like to make a tree of your choice with your branches. You could sway from side to side. And we're just practicing, proprioception and balance. We're just practicing these things. So if you fall out, it's okay. You come back in, you try again. Good. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out, just release. And stand symmetrically. And notice if you feel any subtle differences from side to side. These aren't long holds, right? We're not doing crazy, like draining gym workouts, but the effects are still there. Can you feel them? Okay. Tree pose, second side, Vrksasana. Find where you need to be. Turn on your left glute to peel out your left knee. Land your gaze. Breath is uninhibited, and arms do what they want. For those of you who feel unchallenged in this position, your gaze will go upward to something a little higher. Horizon line, maybe skyline. This posture is so great because it's not only delicate, but it's fierce at the same time. You're taking up so much space. You're worthy of taking up space. Breathe in. Breathe out, release. Stand symmetrically or just feel. Maybe even close your eyes to dial inward. Okay, let's get into a little bit of a twist in this. We need to warm up our twisting bodies. So here we go. Just lift your right knee all the way up toward your hip height. Take your left hand to your left knee and then reach back in space with your right. I'll turn so you can see what this will look like from over there. Hips will stay really nice and square toward the front. Just your shoulders move out to the sides. Again, if you need more of a challenge, look back towards your back finger. Take a breath in. Breathe out, release. Let's do the other side. Lift your left knee now. And then just come into a nice, gentle twist. Let your stomach, your belly, all of this lower belly region, okay, your abdomen, let it move with your breath. Especially during these twists, you want the press down of your diaphragm to cleanse out anything that's not needed in those tissues. I like to think that maybe some gum I swallowed when I was 6 might come out if I breathe fully enough in yoga. Getting a little heated. This is hard. Take a breath in. Exhale, release. Breathe in, mountain pose. And exhale, let's just take a little side bend to the right. Pause to breathe. This is really the last of our standing series. We're not doing much standing today. Breathe out. Breathe in center. Exhale, second side. As you breathe, you'll just think about the right side body as an accordion. Your ribs expand, your ribs contract. And come all the way up. Breathe in, mountain. Exhale, forward, fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. We're going to throw a plank pose in here because I think it's important, but I want it from your knees. Gentle yoga, right? Let's practice moderation here. There will be a long line from the crown of your head down towards your knees. So your hips will not be down or back into table pose. They'll be right in line. We'll just practice this because we want our bones to be healthy. We need weight-bearing exercises. Downward facing dog is one of them, but we need this here. So just take a couple of breaths. Last breath in. And as you breathe out, lower all the way to your mat. Let's take a little back bend here. Sphinx pose. Let's be really heavy through our knees, through our feet. I feel like when my feet are further apart, it feels a little bit better on my low back. And even though this is gentle yoga, I want a little bit of electricity, a little bit of a pull back of your elbows here. So pull back, broaden your chest. Suck your shoulder heads back into their sockets. We're just practicing some spinal mobility, a little bit of heart opening. Think about how often we're looking at alerts on our phone and hunching over. Can we open instead of close? Come down nice and slowly. Thread your left arm underneath you, underneath your chest, and your right arm can come over if you don't have enough sensation. Some people have enough sensation just reaching over there to the opposite side of the mat. And then you can use this as a pillow. So I want you to feel a little bit of opening over here, okay? So you can do both hands, and I will show you what this looks like from the front. This is your first option. And if that's not deep enough, this is your second option, underneath chest, not out here, out here. And your head can go on a block or a pillow, or you can even take a temple to one side. Full breaths into the backside of your shoulders. And if you have any pain signals, let's unravel the posture just a little bit. Step away from that pain signal and more into a place of compassionate challenge. You don't need to move, but I'm going back to the mat so that we can do this together. Slowly keep your left hand where it is, but take your right hand to your mat. Take your right knee out to the side and then just roll onto your back for a supine twist. Your shoulders might not make it to the floor, and that's okay. I'd like you to bring a pillow or a block or something underneath your knee if it's uncomfortable, or even bend both knees and put a block or a pillow in between there. I sleep like that sometimes. It feels really, really nice, especially on my low back. There's nothing fancy about this practice here today. It's just supposed to be this beautiful experience for you to come back into wholeness, into healing. And you'll find your mind wander. You might start to think about other things. But when you draw the mind back time and time again, not only does it cultivate focus and productivity outside of your yoga practice, it promotes happiness, longevity, and even a little bit of those feel good things that are in your brain, those juices, that dopamine, that serotonin that so many people chase in their day to day lives. So come back to that meditative quality of practice time and time again, no matter if your brain has been on vacation since I said hello at the beginning of the video. Carefully, let's come back to our navels now. And we'll switch out our arms. Right arm comes underneath our chest. Left arm can be a pillow. If that's not enough sensation, left arm all the way through. And then you find just a little bit of a nice head position here. And start to relax. Imagine you are like pancake batter that's been just plopped into a pan, and you just get flatter and flatter and heavier. The edges begin to soften and spread. One of the best things I get from my yoga practice is just simply observing from the seat of the higher self where my mind goes. What are its tendencies? Is that where I want my mind to go? Or do I want to redirect it? Kind of like training a small puppy. Take your left knee out to the left side. Push your left hand into the mat. Roll into a messy twist. And again, fixing anything that you need to so that you feel luxurious, supported. We'll do a little bit of hip opening on our back here in a second. So if you do have a strap or something that could act like a strap, awesome. If not, I think I can cue you through safely. Let's take just 2 more breaths here to settle in and to rinse. But I do find it helpful if you've got like a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a blanket, a towel, anything where you could capture your foot, that would be amazing. If not, we can modify. So from here, let's just come onto our backs. Take both soles of feet to the floor. And then I invite you to just draw your right knee up into your chest. Take your right foot all the way up toward the ceiling. And if you've got a strap or a t-shirt or a towel, it will go around your foot here as you extend toward the ceiling. If you don't, you'll simply grab something north of the knee. Okay? So I don't want here because that's not going to give the same sort of stretch that I want. Want it somewhere north of the knee. And just pull in towards your face. If this is not enough sensation, elongate your left leg. And again, I told you I like to move during my yoga practice, so I'll just find a little sway side to side here. That can be really, really nice. We all know there's more than one muscle in the back of our leg here. Take your left hand and tack the top of your left hip down. And then slowly invite your left, or your right leg rather, out to the side without your hip popping up. Okay, so just out far enough that you feel this. If you've got a strap, you can hug up higher on that strap. If you can get your foot, you can hold on to your foot there. Cool, but just come to a place that feels good for you. We won't be here for too long. If you need some gentle movement, bend and straighten into this leg. Doesn't have to be anything forced. You don't even have to straighten your knee all the way. Again, customizable postures, as though you're taking the posture to the tailor and letting them fit it to you. Dial our leg back to center now. Switch so that your left hand has your right leg, and it will simply guide your leg up and over towards your left shoulder. Use your right arm as a little counterbalance here. Oh, I feel everything on my outer thigh. Ah, maybe even my hamstrings. So needed. There is a time and place for every sort of yoga practice. I love the more active power yoga practice. I love the yin where we just hold the poses, but man, this gentle yoga can just be so perfect some days, and I think today's the day for me. We've got a couple more breaths. If you need to bend and straighten, do so. Come back to center. Let your leg go onto your mat and just feel. Soles of feet to earth. Left knee up and into chest. Elongate your left foot toward the ceiling, and then grab something northward of your knee, or find a clasp with a towel or the like. You know. Do you want your right sole of foot still on the earth, or do you want to pull it downward? You can always kind of smooth it out with your hand too, and just urge those top hip flexor muscles to relax. It's not uncommon for students to get tense through their jaw, their neck, their shoulders in this, or sometimes even to pick up. See if you can relax into your mat. And this is just kind of the introduction, right? You're introducing your body to this new shape. So be gentle with it. Left hand will guide your foot over to the left as you tack down your right hip now. I like to actively stretch my right toes away from my left toes. Oh, it feels really nice through here. And again, to bend and extend if you feel a little resistant to some of these postures. And dial your leg through center. Right hand grabs and guides this time. Left arm comes out as a counterbalance. And just find where you need to be. I don't need to go too terribly far. I could fall into this if I wanted to. It's not that I can't. It's just that here is where I feel it more. I tug my left toes up toward my right shoulder, and there it is. Everything that I wanted to access right there. And isn't it kind of cool that just by twerking our container, we can get into things in the body that we can't massage and get into ourselves? Pretty cool. Nice little pop there. Last breaths of this hip opening sequence here. And this is a little bit of strength work too. Can you feel through the pull of your arms? It's gentle strength work, but it's there. Let's come to center and just feel. Awesome. A really important part of a yoga practice that we don't do in other modalities is our inversions, being upside down, heart overhead. And we did that in Dangling Pose, but I always like to end with legs up a chair or up a wall. And I'm going to bet some money that you've got a chair or a wall by you. I would have to move. I don't think I want to move right now and have to clean the walls afterward for other classes to come. So I will just do legs up a wall right here with, I would say, a block if you're going to stay on your mat right underneath your sacrum. And this is where we'll take Shavasana today. So if you have legs up a chair, you'll scoot your booty as close to the chair as you can. Let your legs go floppy on there. Maybe even roll your wrists out to the side to open up a little bit through the front side of the shoulder. And your only job for the next couple of moments is to guide the mind to a single pointed focus. Sounds mundane, but it's powerful. Just try it. Take a deep breath in of your intention or your focus. And exhale, Shavasana. If you're comfortable where you are, you can stay there, dropping deeper and deeper into relaxation. If you know it's time to move on, scoop your knees into your chest. Just give yourself a little gentle rock, awakening yourself from this place of peace and not abandoning it, but rather inviting this gentleness you've just showed yourself to infuse into the rest of your day or week. Just to roll to one side and to notice what qualities of your yoga practice you might need to be the healthiest, most amazing, helpful human going forward. Setting an intention for coming up off of your mat. So important, at least in my practice. I feel like it helps to center me and live my best life. Hashtag corny but true. So gather up a couple of those things that might be important to you And then let's press up and meet in a tall seat, closing our time together with purpose, with gratitude, with hands at heart center. Thank you so much for taking care of yourself. It's so important to be introspective in a world like ours, to really tap into ourselves and not only be gentle with ourselves, but to listen in and guide from that seat of the higher self. Namaste. Okay, have a great rest of your day. Keep taking care of yourselves. Keep coming to your yoga mats. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that you come week after week. I see the numbers, I see the comments, I see the personal messages that you give to me. So I just want to say how proud I am of you. Take care. I'll see you.